This is 95.3 Business Now.
Friday, July the 26th. I am Aramide Falarisha, and this is your Business Now as we head into the final weekend in July. Well, let's get started. The Nigerian government has announced plans to issue the sum of $500 million in dollar-denominated bonds in the domestic market, looking to attract foreign currency held by Nigerian citizens living abroad. The Minister of Finance, Wale Edun, says the US dollar bond offer will take place within the next 4 weeks. He added that the government will hold off issuing one for now, while there is the opportunity to consider a Eurobond offering. Italian energy firm Eni has received a formal approval from the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission for the sale of 100% shares of the Nigerian Agric Oil Company Limited joint venture to Oando Nigeria PLC. Confirming this in a statement, the Italian oil company said it has obtained all other necessary authorizations from local and regulatory authorities. This development follows Oando's announcement back in September 2023 regarding the company's plan to acquire Agric Oil onshore assets in Nigeria. However, the deal faced delays as it awaited necessary government approvals. The Manufacturers Association of Nigeria has asked all government regulatory agencies, especially those in the oil and gas sector, to desist from making statements capable of demarketing local investments in the country. This comes in light of the recent allegation by the Chief Executive of Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency, Farouk Ahmed, over the quality of products produced by the new multi-billion-dollar Dangote refinery. The United Nations has released a report which shows that the world has made little progress in its fight against hunger as conflict, extreme weather and economic challenges restrict people's access to food. The UN report, which was released on Thursday, reveals that about 733 million people, or 9.1%, of the global population were undernourished in 2023, which changed just a little for a third straight year. And this figure is still 152 million more than in 2019 and putting the world off track to reach its key goals, including zero hunger by the end of this decade. We go on a break now, but when we return, Nigeria's agric sector is set to receive boost as the National Agricultural Land Development Authority plans to set up an Institute of Agriculture and Entrepreneurship across the country. Let's dig into that after this break.
This is 95.3 Business Now.
Technology is constantly evolving and artificial intelligence is powering everything around us.
So for nations to continue to survive in the world where artificial intelligence is now everywhere around us, we must participate in governance structure in terms of how it is managed.
At Radio Now 95.3 FM, we're telling the story of the evolution of technology like nobody else can. Now that's another reason to listen to us.
We are Radio Now 95.3 FM Lagos.
We are intentional about the stories we tell and the language we use in telling them.
Intentional about the people we speak to and why we speak to them.
Because here at Radio Now 95.3 FM, we aren't just telling any story.
We are telling your story.
And your story is all that matters.
Connect with us now via our social media channels. Facebook.com/RadioNow953FM.
We're on Twitter too. Connect with us there and get involved.
At Radio Now 953FM. 953FM. Like what we do? Share it on your socials and tell everyone.
Want to see some more of us? Head over and meet us on Instagram
at Radio Now 953FM. Get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.
This is 95.3 Business Now.
Welcome back, everyone. The National Agricultural Land Development Authority is looking to address the challenge of an aging population of farmers in the country by setting up a new set of institutes of agribusiness across the 6 geopolitical zones. According to Paul Ikone, the outgoing executive secretary of NALDA, the Institute of Agribusiness and Entrepreneurship was designed to support the growth and development of agribusiness in Nigeria by transforming agribusiness into a modern and appealing career path for youth. Well, joining me to discuss this now is Amina Momo Orimoloye, the founder and CEO of Ruma NG, which is a livestock digital trackability and funding platform. Good morning, madam. Great to have you on the program this Friday. Can you hear me? Good morning.
I can hear you. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes. Good to have you on Business Now.
It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, let's get right into the conversation. What do you make of a plan by the government to set up institutes of agriculture and entrepreneurship across Nigeria?
Well, but at a glance, it sounds like a promising initiative. Obviously, setting up institutes for agriculture and entrepreneurship across Nigeria could have several positive impacts, from skills development to innovation and research. Definitely job creation opportunities and real development, right? And networking collaboration. I think the success of this initiative will likely depend on the quality of the programs offered. And I think that is the most pertinent point there. I mean, the expertise of the instructors primarily, and the level of support from both the government and the private sector. And I think that the fusion of that partnership is very integral to the success of it all. And if well executed, it could be a significant step forward for Nigeria's agribusiness landscape. But I mean, there's a lot to be told from this journey, and it's a matter of wait and see. But I think before sort of proceeding full force, what we should do is be leveraging lessons from how things are done in other continents and other countries, and even countries across Africa that are definitely making headway beyond our own sort of pace of progress, I would say.
Very key points that you noted that you said it's a significant step in Nigeria's agribusiness landscape. But walk me through how a typical institute of agriculture would operate, the structure, the funding, the curriculum, and so on.
Okay, so obviously in a typical institute, and we are not just restricting this to the African continent, you have your core subjects. Obviously, you are running your horticulture, your animal science, your agriculture engineering, agribusiness management, right? And I think looking at all aspects of agribusiness is key, especially the economic elements, and not just the production end of things and the knowledge acquisition. I think it's important for us to also focus on specialized courses. So there's a lot of noise around sustainable agriculture, which is techniques and obviously practices for environmental conservation and communal prosperity. However, I think what we really should be incorporating, more than just from a theoretical point of view, but creating incubation centers for these innovative ideas, are agri-tech and agroecology, which I don't think, beyond those that obviously have a concentrated viewpoint on agriculture or agroecology, I think it's something that needs to be widespread in terms of knowledge and how it actually affects the nation as a whole, and then our region across West Africa, because the significance of Nigeria is integral to the success of Africa, right? But more so our immediate region, so we refer to that as ECOWAS. Now, going back to your initial question, without going off on a tangent, we really need to look at our practical training. So what we would refer to as IT, or more commonly known as fieldwork, hands-on experience in farms and agricultural settings. And I think beyond your little stints in your respective university or institute of agriculture, beyond your IT training, I don't really think you benefit from any more. There aren't institutes where you can go off to, or incubation centers where you can go off to and do proper apprenticeships. Whereas if you look at Europe and US and other continents, or even some other countries, like I said earlier, in Africa, they prioritize this. It's one thing to accumulate theoretical knowledge is another thing to have the ability to practically apply it. And I think we are lacking there. I think there are some amazing people in Nigeria, especially amongst the youth population, that are doing amazing things. Unfortunately, they're not getting the noise, the exposure of what they're doing. So, as a country, we still look at the way we do agriculture as a textbook. And I think a lot about that has to change. And then again, we're looking at workshops, we're looking at lab work, we're looking at seminars. Again, seminars are great, they're great for skills development, but you can't really obtain any practical knowledge or practical experience from, a typical setup sitting in the classroom. I mean, how much are you going to attain from IT, your industrial training, if there's not some sort of platform for you to continue to evolve your skills before you can say, actually, I've acquired enough. I really want to go off and do something on my own. Which is why when a lot of people go into, agribusiness or agripreneurs, you make a lot of mistakes. On my own personal journey, I made a lot of expensive mistakes. Because post university or post whatever academic institute you attend, you don't really get those incubation centers. So going back to the plan of NLDA, I think it is a progressive one. I think it is going to positively impact Nigeria as a whole, but it depends on how that is structured and how practically applicable a lot of the things that they are taught are in the real world. And I think sometimes we don't give enough consideration to the nuances that we experience in Nigeria that you just don't see anywhere else. And again, another thing I think is really pertinent is student needs. So that's academic support, advisors, tutoring. It's one thing to have a tutor you can go to, but when you're now in the process or on the journey of trying to become an agripreneur, you do need, what's the word for it? You need mentors. You need some sort of structure where I'm on this journey, but however, I can go to this particular initiative or this particular program or this particular company that can offer me some sort of hand-holding through the process. And I think the practical elements really need to be significantly considered. Again, going back to how we can do it better, what the typical institute has in terms of facilities. So we go into, let me use crop as an example, or maybe livestock. We go into these vertical sectors, right, within agriculture, and we learn things, but then when it gets to the practical application, there's nothing that exists outside that institute that will allow you to continue to engage and in your learning experience.
So I get your point. I wanted to ask you, is this, because you've spoken about the impact that it would have on Nigeria, is this a silver bullet to resolve Nigeria's acute food shortage? What more needs to be done to revamp the agriculture sector?
Okay, so Nigeria's plan to set up institutes of agriculture and entrepreneurship, as they say, is a positive step. It's unlikely to be a silver bullet. And I know probably possibly that's not the answer you're hoping to hear, and probably the masses too. But that only results in Nigeria's acute food shortage on its own. It can't do it on its own. There are a number of things that need to support the establishment of these institutes. The establishment of the institutes is not enough alone. And here's why, and what more we could possibly do. So the complexity of food security is a major issue, and until that's fully understood down to the people that we're trying to sort of encourage to enter the agricultural space, there's going to be a lot of things that go wrong. So food security involves multiple factors, including production, distribution, affordability, key, and access. And when I say access to resources, access to finances, access to money, there's a lot that needs to be done. So just addressing one aspect, like education and training, is insufficient to tackle the whole problem. And I hope someone hears that and starts to think about that in a really critical way. Now, implementation challenges focuses on what? Resource allocation. Ensuring that these institutes are well funded, equipped, and staffed is crucial. The idea is noble, yes. But if at the end of the day they don't have the resources or the support, both from government and private sector, to develop it in a way or establish it in a way that is beneficial and speaks to the problems that they're actually trying to resolve, then nothing's going to happen. So without adequate resources, the impact is pretty much limited. All we're doing is setting up another institute. And at the end of it all, students will finish, they'll have a certificate, and then what? And then going back to the point that I made earlier about the quality of training, the effectiveness of these institutes just depends on that itself. The quality of the curriculum and the practical application and practical training that's provided to support them once they've concluded their training or whatever it is, their course, whatever it is. Now, more importantly, we're looking at the infrastructure and the policy gaps. Infrastructure, there are existing gaps in agricultural infrastructure.
Right.
I know that because that's a problem that I myself am battling, and that's one of the issues that RUMA is trying to solve. Now, if you're looking at crop irrigation systems, storage facilities, transportation networks, now I'll use myself as an example of RUMA, which is actually a subsidiary of its larger or parent company, Orion. Now, when I wanted to set up my integrated farm, which focuses on distribution, it focuses on production, processing, distribution, one of the issues that I had when considering possible states was the transportation networks that would surround their state and our ability to reach all corners of Nigeria. What kind of support does it have? And so, unfortunately, certain states were eliminated because of lack of that. So, putting that to one side, let's focus on policy and regulation. Effective policies and regulation need to support agricultural growth and address issues such as land tenure, market access, and trade. So I know let me just touch on that market access really, really quick. So that's very, very important, right? There is no growth if your market is limited to your domestic market. If you look at livestock, maybe crop is faring better, but livestock, our market is limited to basically our country and our neighboring countries because they slaughter or they process meat in a similar way, so they have no qualms. You cannot export Nigerian livestock into the international space because we don't need quality assurance.
Actually, I know you've got a lot to share, but we've run out of time. Thank you so much, Amina.
Oh wow, really?
Amina Momo Orimoloye, founder and CEO of Roma NG, a livestock digital trackability and funding platform. We appreciate your time on the show this morning. Do have a great weekend, madam. All right, this is how we wrap up the show today. I'm Aramde Falansho, and that's your Business Now for today, the 26th of July. Business Now will be back on Monday at 8:30 in the morning. Do have a great weekend, everyone. It's bye for now.
This is 95.3 Business Now.